I have the quick set lock here that we were looking at mounted on the display board. I'm going to pick it open. I'm going to just use a regular tension wrench and a hook pick, and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to feel for pins, just like we were talking about. Feel for which pins are a little bit sticky and pick them up to the shear line and see if we can get this lock to open. There we go. Okay, so that's the idea. And now I'm going to go through 4 different locks, and we'll talk about different techniques as I do those 4 locks. And I have 4 locks that I've picked out here. I have a Schlage deadbolt lock. I have a quickset deadbolt lock. I have a mortise cylinder, which you will run into many of these. These are very common on storefronts that have glass doors with aluminum frames. Very popular lock. And I also have a lever handle lock that we'll try to pick. And I'm going to just try to go straight through them and pick them as quickly as I can, and at the same time demonstrate the different techniques. I would get my favorite tension wrench, and I've already explained that's the one that has the handle that's turned at 90 degrees. Well, before I put that in there, I would do a couple of things. I would take my diamond pick and I would check the lock to make sure that the lock is clean, there's no trash in there, there's no key broken off in there, that the pins are moving fairly freely. And I would also ask the owner where the key for this lock is, because it could be a miscommunication when they called you and said they couldn't open the lock, that you thought the key was missing. It might be they have the key, but the lock is broken. Maybe the tail piece broke off the back or something. So you don't want to spend time picking the lock open if the lock is broken at the back. So I try to make it a point to always ask where the key is. Then I would spray the lock with WD-40. I've already sprayed these locks. By the way, all of these locks are 5-pin locks. All 5 pins are in each of these locks. And I have, like I say, I've sprayed these with WD-40, which is one of the first things I would do once I got ready to pick the lock. And again, I try to make sure that everything is moving well in there. And then I would go to my rake pick. And the first pick I like to use is the rake, to see if I can just simply rake the pins and open the lock that way. Now, just to show this one more time, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be trying to raise those pins up. So going back and forth and get them to all come to the top at the same time, get them all even up there. And then we're going to use tension with our tension wrench to hold them there, and when we get all 5 up there, hopefully we're going to be able to open the lock. When you come to the door, hopefully the lock is in the position that you expect, with the bottom of the keyway at the bottom of the lock housing. Sometimes you'll come to the job and you'll find the lock upside down. Many locks are installed upside down. So practice both ways. When we do the lever handle lock, we will have to open with the keyway on the horizontal. So practice from various positions as you practice your lock picking skills. So I've already checked to make sure the lock is clean. We sprayed it with WD-40. We asked where the key was. We know we need to pick the lock open. And then I'd begin with my rake and put light tension, very light tension on the tension wrench. Begin to rake. I usually go to the back and come forward with just light tension on the wrench. And we can listen and see when we release the tension off the wrench, do we hear any pins pop back down? And there were a couple that time that popped back down. So we know we are getting some of the pins up there. So try from the back, coming forward, and then let the tension off the wrench, let them reset, because it's possible that we pushed one of the pins up too far, and we have the bottom pin stuck up here. So let the pressure back off with very light tension. Try again, and the lock is opened. We'll take the mortise cylinder, count the number of pins, see if it's a 5 or 6 pin lock. We would check for trash, make sure there's no broken key, ask the owner where the key is, take our tension wrench, put it in the bottom, get our rake, go to the back, gently rake the pins forward. Let the tension off, start over. Normally, I only do light, medium, and alternating tension. I start at the back and rake forward, and then I'll begin at the front and rake backwards. And look, the lock opened on that one. It didn't like the back coming forward, but it opened right away on the front going to the back. So I'll go from the let me lock this back. Always turn your lock back. Remember that the owner can't get his key back in there if you don't turn it back before you leave. So to explain the different techniques that I use, and you'll again develop your own pattern, I normally go to the back and come forward. I'll try that. I'll come to the front and go to the back a few times. I'll try that, and then I'll start in the middle and go to the back, middle to the front, middle to the front, middle to the back, and I will do each of those with different tensions. I'll use light, medium, and then alternating tension. And then if that doesn't work, and I go through all of my different picks, I use the rake pick first, I'll use the half diamond, I'll use the J hook, and that doesn't work, then I will begin to use other techniques. I will use medium to heavy tension on the wrench, and I'll try that. Now the other thing to think about as you're doing this is, how does the tip of the tool touch the pins? Or are you touching the pins right underneath them, pretty directly on? That's one technique. The other thing that we can do is go to the side, try to go and push them more from one side or more from the other side. So all of those can be used, starting at the back, coming forward, directly under the pins, coming from the back to the front, more or less pushing to the right side. Do the same thing, pushing to the left side. Do this, all of those things using light tension, medium tension, or heavy tension. There's a number of ways to approach it. So you get your pattern down and just go through the pattern. Once you've got the pattern down, just go through it. Now I was going to try the diamond here, again starting at the front and going through. Well, I'd already done the back as I was talking. I did the back a couple times, and then I was ready to do the front. And there, again, the front, starting at the front works the best, and you can see that it opened again, starting at the front, with fairly light tension on the tension wrench. So there's those are 2 locks down. See, so we have the Schlage lock. We are again, going to check for trash in the lock, make sure there's no broken key in the lock. Get our tension wrench, take our rake. I normally go to the back. Now on On the Schlage lock, the Schlage and some other locks have a little tighter keyways, and one thing that I've done with my, if I have to go to my half diamond, you see that I've filed it down a little bit on the back of it, on the back side of the pick. It's filed down so that I can get it underneath the pins easier. Sometimes it's difficult to get under the pins without raising them so high that the lock won't open. Again, I would first start with my rake with very light tension, going from the back to the front. And you can hear these pins when they come back down. The Schlage pins must have stronger springs. You can hear them popping back down. At least this one does anyway. So going from the back to the front. Now again, very light tension, try the front to the back. See if that'll do the combination that we need. Go to the middle, go back, middle, front. Try the different, what I did just then, and you see the lock open, I went a little bit to the right side of the pin, so I was more on the right side with the pressure on the pick, and you see it came right open. So that was the combination to open this. Please take just a moment to like the video and also subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.